Support WrestleTalk!
Follow us on Twitter.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I am Luke Owen. The long-awaited trial between CM Punk, Colt Cabana and WWE Dr. Chris Amann is finally over, with the jury voting in favor of Punk and Cabana. It's been a very interesting few weeks with some crazy things being revealed during the various depositions. So let's take a look at some of the most shocking things revealed during the trial. Number 11, CM Punk's first promo. Punk was known in WWE and the wrestling world for being one of the best promos in the business. And during the trial, he revealed the very first thing he was allowed to say during a wrestling show during his first real feud. After an angle where he hit a wrestler with a sock full of quarters, the voice of the voiceless exclaimed, "Alls I'm saying is I've got a lot of sense." Well, it's better than suffering succotash. Number 10, what does the CM stand for? Punk has always been rather cagey about what the CM in CM Punk stands for, using it as a running gimmick by telling fans it's something different anytime he was asked. Is it Chicago made? Charles Montgomery? Cookie Monster? Nope, in fact it's the most popular fan theory of Chick Magnets, a reference to a tag team he was a part of in his early wrestling days called the Chick Magnets. Well, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Number 9, CM Punk's Speedo. During the trial, Punk was asked to identify his ring gear from the 2014 Royal Rumble, including his knee pads, trunks, hoodie, and Speedo. But as a fun little addendum, Punk admitted that those Speedos are the only pair he ever wore in WWE, and he would wash them in a sink after every match. To quote the man himself, that's a little piece of WWE trivia. Well, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Number 8, WWE made CM Punk miserable. Now, given that Punk walked out on the company after the 2014 Royal Rumble and was fired on his wedding day, the fact that he was pretty unhappy about his time in the company towards the end of his run isn't all too surprising. Hell, the whole reason we're here is because he talked about how unhappy he was on a podcast. But during his time on the stand, Punk went into detail about how miserable he was. Punk told the jury he suffered from headaches and lack of sleep. He had no appetite, narrowed vision, dizziness, and would always vomit after every match. He also said that his head felt like a fishbowl and he suffered from crying spells. I'd be in catering 1 sec fine, next welling up. I'm sure I wasn't fun to be around. Number 7, the truth about WWE referees. Moving away from CM Punk for a second, and former WWE timekeeper Mark Yeaton had a pre-recorded interview for the trial which revealed some interesting notes. Contrary to popular belief, WWE referees do not have a direct line to Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn in the back. In fact, it's the timekeeper who does. The only time a referee has a microphone to communicate with production is during a Falls Count Anywhere match where they can't see the timekeeper. Yeaton told the court that it was his job to communicate what Vince McMahon and Dunn were telling him to the referee, and then they will hold up a closed fist to say yes or shake their head to say no to confirm they've received the message. Yeaton also said there have been several times Vince has told him to ring the bell early on a match. Number 6. What is WWE? WWE has always referred to itself as sports entertainment rather than wrestling. When SmackDown debuted in 1999, it wasn't called a wrestling show. Instead, it was called an action adventure. Well, now we've got a new term to call this wrestling show anything else other than a wrestling show. Current head of talent relations Mark Carano under oath described WWE as a live event action movie. Well, now you know.
And knowing is...
Number 5, the NXT wannabes. During his testimony, Chris Amann's lawyers revealed a group text between Amann, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder, and Chris Jericho, which was called the NXT Wannabe Club. If that doesn't tell you the feeling amongst the main roster locker room towards NXT, I'm not sure anything will. Number 4, WWE knew Punk was concussed when Kane put him through a table. Now this one is more serious, but it's now on record that WWE were aware that Punk was concussed when Kane put him through a table to eliminate him from the 2014 Royal Rumble. Chris Amann told timekeeper Mark Yeaton after Kofi Kingston's clothesline that Punk was concussed and he needed to be taken out of the match. Referee Jack Cohn said in a pre-recorded interview that he told Punk he was being eliminated early and Punk told him he was staying in the match. Kane did come down earlier than planned to the ring and eliminated Punk, and then proceeded with the planned spot of putting him through a table. Given the public face WWE put on about the well-being of their wrestlers, this one doesn't look great on them. Number 3, Chris Amann wanted $4 million. Yep, it was originally reported that Chris Amann was suing CM Punk and Colt Cabana for $1 million. But in his lawyer's closing statement, that was inflated to just under $4 million, $1 for every reported listener the Art of Wrestling episode had. Amann's lawyer made a lot of mistakes during the trial, including reading wrong text messages and referencing wrong depositions. But this might have been one of his biggest blunders. Number 2, Chris Amann's life didn't change. But probably what also didn't help was that Chris Amann admitted to the jury that the Art of Wrestling podcast episode with CM Punk didn't change his life in any way. Amann admitted that no one in his immediate family has treated him any differently since the podcast came out, and his professional standing and reputation in WWE also hasn't changed. In fact, the only thing that has changed is that strangers have sent him mean things on social media. Amann did say that it ruined Thanksgiving for him though, so I guess there is that. And number 1, CM Punk and Colt Cabana are true friends. And to end on a lighter note, it seems that even though they've fallen out since, Punk and Cabana are the truest of friends. During his time on the stand, Cabana revealed that he did see the lump on Punk's butt that this whole trial has been based around. And when Punk was asked about this during his testimony, he confirmed it was true, saying, "If anyone's gonna see my butt that isn't my wife, it's Colt Cabana." Now that is true friendship. Why should Becky Lynch win the Money in the Bank ladder match? Ollie and I discussed this in the latest episode of Wrestle Ramble, which you can check out by clicking the playlist on screen. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.